Darren Williamson. If you do not know who Darren Williamson is, he used to work for CNBC. No, he is not a sellout like most people who work with CNBC. He's actually very central. He did not take sides whatsoever throughout the whole campaign. He was critical of both Hillary and Trump. From the feel of Darren, it seems like he's more right-wing than anything. And that's mainly stemming from his Christian values. But for the most part, he's just a central guy. He doesn't really like to take a left side. He doesn't really like to take a right side. He tried to get on the Bernie bandwagon back in the primaries, but he just couldn't do it. He's not a believer in socialism. He doesn't believe in any of this nonsense. And everybody else left, he just wasn't a fan. He never could hop on the Trump bandwagon. He was like me and John, and I admit, and a lot of people have called me out for this in the past, where I have flip-flopped between, because I started out as a Bernie person, and this was, and I'll just be quite blunt with everybody, this is when I was a dumbass liberal. This is when I was a dumbass leftist who was not informed and who did not have any education nor knowledge on economics and how economics work. I had been studying economics since the summer, and my whole thought process about free education and free healthcare has completely flipped. And knowledge is power, John. And that is evidence right there. The fact that more knowledge that I obtained, it flipped me more to the right. Like, that's exactly what happened. It's just amazing, because Kelvin likes to say that all the time, that knowledge is power. Knowledge is power, bro. Once you go out and get knowledge. Honestly, and I hate to say this because he can't defend himself, but let's be honest here. Kelvin at times does not have logic. He's a very rational
Poor
guy.
Kelvin.
You have a very intelligent discussion with him, a very intellectual discussion with him. But let's be honest here, John. At times, the logic isn't there. Like, he's not thinking clearly. He is saying that a black man has oppression when he's making $19 million a year for being a horrible quarterback. But what were you going to say? It's the truth. It's true.
No, it is. It is. But poor Kelvin. He's going to listen to this. He's going to be like, what? No, it is. And I don't want to say that it's not logical per se. It's just they're not using the right facts. Like, it's a liberal. He's brainwashed in a sense.
Yes.
And I don't mean that necessarily in a bad way. He can't help it. But there's a brainwashing.
Well, I was brainwashed at one time.
Yeah.
It happened.
Yeah. So all their talking points and all their facts might be real, but they totally neglect the facts from the other side of the spectrum. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Basically back to the original point of our guest. So you'll have Darren Williamson. He'll be with us. We'll have Bryden Proctor. He'll be joining us later of New Media Central, host of Right to Bryden. And is he a columnist? Does he write columns, John?
He does write columnists, but he does so many other things that he doesn't get. He doesn't write as much as some other people, but he does write, and his writing is very good. Check him out.
So Bryden will be joining us at 10:40. Let's see who this is. Caller, you are on the air.
Okay, how you doing?
So it's you. Now, this is the guy that I was talking about, John. This is the guy who is extremely pro-BLM, if we could say that, and he feels like that our views, John, are just completely factually inaccurate. And let's see who this is. Caller, you are on the air.
I see you're as hyperbolic as ever, but, indeed.
Who is the other caller?
This is Raheem.
So Raheem. All right, so we have Raheem.
Yeah.
Raheem is from our Facebook page, so we'll be able to talk to him as well. But first, Raheem, hold on the line for a minute. We're going to start with Nas first. So Nas, go ahead and tell your views of Black Lives Matter, Black oppression, all this stuff. Tell your views of this to John.
You want to know about the organization Black Lives Matter? That's the question.
What you believe as far as everything, the Black Lives Matter organization and the movement, the whole oppression thing, racism, all of this stuff. Everything's so
your
involved
personal
in the
beliefs. I don't want you to speak for them, though. I want you to speak for yourself.
Indeed. Well, Black Lives Matter was it was an organization created by three gay black women, or queer, I think they would say, black women who were upset about police violence and police brutality. So they decided to create an organization that sprouted many satellite organizations across the country. People got behind the banner just because of so many shootings of unarmed people, and just people's general feeling of some of the police action that's going on in the last few years. Now, people have taken shots at the organization, decided that the organization is the one causing the problem. I would call it the theory of umbrellas making it rain. You know what I mean? They're a response to an action. So that's it. They're a reform group. They're not a revolutionary group. They're not a violent group. For the most part, they're college students and activists. But as far as some of the smears that have come, typically you'll get somebody playing a YouTube video of somebody chanting something anti-police and then saying, oh, see, that's Black Lives Matter. That's the group. That's their ideology. And then presenting that as if that's the narrative. We always see this in American spaces because in America, here's a little kicker. Despite freedom of speech and freedom, to assemble, in America, we immediately attack anything that comes at how the system operates and how we function as a nation. So like I told you last time, when the Tea Party first started, the news cameras immediately went to the guy with the poster of Obama with a bone in his nose and Obama as Hitler. Then they painted the whole Tea Party is racist. Whole Tea Party is racist. So you see this same formation being done to Black Lives Matter. And I think it's a shame that so many people fall for these tricks because, media's been doing this from day one.
And are black people being oppressed? Wait, hold on. Are black people being oppressed not?
Are you really asking me that question? In the year of our Lord 2016, as an American citizen, you're asking me that question.
That is a legit question. Well, explain to me how black people are being oppressed in the year 2016. Feel free to provide me evidence of systematic racism with no laws and those bills. Go ahead and feel free. Feel free.
No, okay. I'll explain it to you in all areas of people activity. When it comes to crime, when it comes to
I want evidence
education.
And facts. Evidence and facts.
Do you want me to finish, or you want to interrupt me after every word so we can do this
No, I don't
want
some long-ass explanation that is not giving anything and pivoting around the answer. I want evidence and facts, straight up evidence and facts.
Okay, mass incarceration, easily provable. Anybody who's read anything about it completely understands
Don't commit crime.
The war on drugs, another easily findable fact that anybody can look up.
But how is this proving black oppression? How is this proving black oppression, though?
It's not.
Well, says you. Of course, you've got the.
No, I don't do drugs. I don't commit crimes.
Well, that's nice, man. You're a good citizen. That's nice to hear. That has nothing to do with the conversation. But what we're talking about is when if you decide that one group will be disproportionately attacked and jailed for things that other groups do within the nation at the same rate, then you would have to say that disparity is interesting. Now, if you're talking about a country with the history that this one does, to where decade after decade after decade, these same things exist, either black people are crazy genetically, or we are dealing with a system that has always attacked black people. Now, if white people and black people use drugs at the same rate, but black people are locked up 4 times more, what does that mean?
Yeah, but why do you think more police are in more black neighborhoods? Why do you think that is? Statistically, blacks create the most crime, so of course they're going to be in the neighborhoods that create the most crime.
So you're saying crime is a function of policing in an area. That's the determination.
Shouldn't police focus on crime, Nas? I mean, isn't that what the police
No, because right now we're living in an era where heroin overdoses and heroin sales and heroin addiction in white communities are at epidemic levels all across the country, but we haven't seen the jail rates rise.
But black neighborhoods are still creating the most crime.
you're still missing the point.
No, you're missing the point.
This is not really hard. This is not hard for you to understand. This is not hard to understand. But like I said, if you're
it's not hard to understand, but you're not understanding.
No, if you're entrenched into, look, man, either we're gonna talk or we're not gonna talk. But if you're entrenched into believing that black people are not,
13% of the population is responsible for 50% of the murder rate. Please explain that to me.
the same reason that exists in every other nation in this country and every other nation on this globe. The same recipe that creates violence in black communities in America is the same one in Brazil, the same one in England, the same one in France. This is not difficult. No opportunities for jobs, high level of illegal activity as far as for people to make money. People compete in that market by what? Violence. So at that point, that's what you have. This is not anything new. You go back to Chicago, that area that everybody loves to bring up. The murder rates during Prohibition were similar. Why? Because they were fighting over the trade of alcohol. So now people fight over the trade of drugs. These are not complicated things, sir.
John, this is the logic of the left. This is the logic of the left.
Logic of the left.
Sir,
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question because
this is amazing.
Because I just gave you some information about murder rates all over the globe, and also that you can create violence in any city you want to. All you have to do is look at the parameters. Now, if I tell you that exists,
you want to bring up, Nas? Do you want to bring up something about history?
No,
that's probably where we're going to go next.
Well, I'm not finished talking, honestly. But if you're built in, if you have a built-in idea that black people and white people get the same treatment in America, and that's ingrained in your head, it doesn't matter what stats I bring, it doesn't matter what factual evidence I bring or historic evidence I bring, because you are tied to that idea.
Well,
no, I'm tied to the idea that anybody can get out of any situation as long as they work hard. Ben Carson is a perfect example of that. Look at Colin Kaepernick, $19 million a year for being a horrible
You're talking about the outliers,
you have President
not
Obama
the
as a black president. What about the black mayors and the black attorney generals and the black? Like, come on, man. What are you talking about?
Both of you.
What are you talking about? That would be like me talking to a poor white person and saying, you've had every white president except Obama. How come you're not thriving? Like, that's stupid to correlate those two things. That makes no sense.
So you don't believe in white privilege?
No, I believe in white inherited wealth from the backs of black slaves and from the genocide of the Native American people. That's actual history.
But do you believe in white privilege?
You can argue if you want, but it doesn't matter.
Well,
I'm asking you a question. Do you believe in white privilege?
I just told you I believe in white inherited wealth, which makes outcomes for white people more likely. I'm asking you about white privilege, not white inherited. Have you heard me say that phrase? You haven't heard me say that phrase, so that's not something I said.
But I'm asking you the question. Do you believe in it? Yes or no? It's that simple. Yes or no?
No, I don't do yes or no. How about that?
Oh, okay.
I don't use that phrase. You use that phrase.
All right. Okay.
That's
what we're gonna do.
Helen, let me speak now.
But go ahead.
Yeah, let this other guy jump in. He may have a more nuanced way of asking questions or having a conversation. You seem to be stuck on that Hannity thing.
I'm asking you a simple question. You can't answer it.
No, you're asking me a question of something I haven't propagated.
Yes,
I didn't come on here telling you about.
I didn't come on
here telling you about white privilege, did I? I didn't come on here talking about that.
That's why I was asking you the question. That's why I was asking you the question. It's that simple.
Hold on, both of you, take a deep breath now.
I'm calm. Hannity over there is losing his mind.
Here's the thing.
Calm down, Hannity. It's okay.
Andrew's made some very good
Hannity.
Here's the thing.
That's an insult.
Here's the thing. You said that if you've always believed that whites and blacks have been treated equal, that's part of your, thing ingrained in you. The same goes true for the other side of the coin, though. If you've always believed that blacks have had it so much rougher and they still have it rougher.
Hold on. Is that always believed, or do I have factual evidence to prove that?
Well,
have you ever studied American history? Like, if you said that as if those two things are equal. Or as if that's up for grabs.
But see, now
have black people been historically marginalized in America? You think that's up for question?
That's so amazing. What I was talking about. What a pivot.
Oh,
what a pivot. Like that is okay. Here's my thing though. It can be ingrained on either side. That's all I'm saying. If you can't agree to that, then that's crazy.
Well, yeah, okay. Let's go here. You said it can be ingrained on either side. Correct. Somebody could have a false idea of how history is gone. Now, if I lay out my side and you lay out your side, and I say, okay, slavery, Reconstruction, Jim Crow, redlining, forced busing,
but you know what?
private prisons. This is still going on. This is not. This is not nothing new. That's the part you're not getting.
Seriously, we do not have Jim Crow laws in this country.
No, we don't have Jim Crow laws. What we do have is redlining, higher unemployment rate.
You can go to. You know why? You know why?
Wait a minute. Wait, guys. We're going up against we're going up against the clock. Nas, go ahead and give us a final statement.
Well, my final statement would be: people should read history, read what's going on today currently as well, and come up with your conclusions based on actual facts. Don't come with emotion. Don't come with this idea that black people are just whining. Read the history, and then you'll understand. But as far as these young men have been tonight, as you saw, they didn't really want to hear. They wanted to tell. And sadly, that won't get it when it comes to history. So read more.
All right,
Nas.
Well,
that's all I'll say.
We thank you for joining the show, and I hope you can. Wait, hold on. No.
I know y'all scared of me, but it's no big deal.
Hey, we're going up against the clock here. We're going up against the clock.
I'm used to scaring white folks, man. It's no big deal.
And I hope that one day you can learn to take your own advice. Go ahead and do that. Take your own advice, Nas. All right, so the next person joining us is Raheem. Raheem.
Yo, what's up? What's going on?
Are you with us now? Okay, so
I'm here.
John, you won't Nas back on later on?
Yeah, because
we'll get Nas at a later date.
Yeah, on a later date. That's fine. I want to have a debate with him where he actually lets him speak.
Okay. Yeah. The problem with that is there's just no logic. I mean, Raheem, you heard this stuff. There's been times where I've seen you bash White Lives Matter. And there's been times where I've seen you defend the movement. So as far as Black Lives Matter is concerned, black oppression, racism on blacks, what is your honest opinion on this?
Okay. My honest opinion is that all this shit is being done to create separation so the government has more control over everybody. That's what it's doing. Me personally, I don't think Black Lives Matter or White Lives Matter. I believe life matters. I come from a rough neighborhood. I've had great white friends. I'm multicultural. My kids are multicultural. I've had good experience with black people, bad experience with white. It doesn't matter. It doesn't shape my opinion. It's just people in general. I believe it's all part of a It's all part of the psyop. You ask me. My best friend's white. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in a rough neighborhood. I had white people who were good to me. I had black people who were good to me. It doesn't really matter. It's just people in general. But what I've noticed, coming from a rough neighborhood, go to college, get an education, experience real racism in my life until it came into the economy, job market, where you're not as important as, let's say, a foreman on a job because you don't have family that's integrated into the business or what. So you're more exposable to the company. I've had times where my resume looks awesome. The guy sees me, I'm a black guy coming into the office at the home in BMW, my credentials, I'm more qualified than everybody else in there. He sees I'm black. He doesn't want to give me an interview. I'm not hired. So that's when I experienced racism, when it became time for ownership. I haven't experienced it when I was a kid. And
now
that is
an answer. That is an answer.
Not saying that white people are racist. Not all white people are racist. I just think people lack multicultural in everything. Everything. Like, my white friends I call them hybrid white dudes, cyborgs, because they know, they've been in my house. They know how black culture works. I've been to their house. So we've integrated within each other, so we know each other. We can laugh and joke about racism all day and not hurt each other's feelings. We all know that it's rich people keeping the poor people, black or white, from seeking the American dream. They circle the wagon. That's what they do. And you got rich black people, rich white people working together to keep each other in power.
Absolutely.
They don't want the poor people coming up. So what they do is they both fund these groups. And that's just why I see what's going on with Trump. Donald Trump is bringing all the underprivileged people up front now and putting the people who were circling the wagon, get them out of the way. That's what I say, and that's my theory on it. Black lives don't matter, white lives don't matter, life matters total. You know what I'm saying? So
now that is
was
an answer.
That's very
That
respectable.
is the intelligence that we're looking for. That a round of applause for this man. Just a round of applause.
Listen, I'm a black man with dreadlocks, right? I grew up in a rough neighborhood. I'm the only one in my family that never have a felony, never been in no serious trouble and stuff like that. I went to college, first one in my family to go to college, and I come from a real rough family. So most of black people's problems are psychological. If you keep thinking that you're at war with somebody, you're going to act like you're at war when there's really no war. The war is within inside your head. So that keeps you from focusing on the right things. This is the byproduct of psychological warfare. It's psychological.
You're
so
like my best friend
people,
right now.
The media is going to constantly.
You preach.
The media is going to constantly put up problems. Like you turn on the news, blackmail this, blackmail that. Okay, that's what it does. So psychologically, you hear that every day. Like most of my customers, older white people, they're going to automatically think that I'm black man, I'm a trouble bound. But when they sit down, have a coffee with me, and talk to me, that I'm not like that. So that makes all the media, fake news, questionable now because people lack integration in America. That's what I think.
Absolutely.
Preaching to the choir.
This is,
you are.
I've seen it. Absolutely preaching to the choir.
I've seen it. I've seen it in my own life where police will lock up the black dudes is because they're selling drugs. Most of the time, people are selling drugs. Why? Because people lack. Once you're in jail, here's my theory on this. When black guys go to jail, white guys go to jail, even though they're out, they're always in jail in their mind. You feel me? They're always limited. Yep. They always feel like they're always going to be a victim, no matter what.
Yep.
So that's my theory. It's all psychological, and people take it and run with it like they're getting chased by a boogeyman. But in their head, it's all in their head, dude. Racism is in everybody's head, and with the government and the media at this fucking major propaganda war they're doing, they're creating an endless problem where there's no really answer to it but to turn the TV off and just really integrate and talk to people and, everybody settle their differences in another way other than fucking constant bullshit propaganda,
It's one of those things where you be you. Don't let them tell you who you are going to be. And that's what's going on. Exactly.
Obama's whole administration is 2 + 2 = 5. Okay.
Yes.
Obama, nobody knows, Obama is a fucking psychological master. He's created. 10 years ago, I didn't have this problem. Me and my white boys can walk down the street, go anywhere, ride our bikes together, ride dirt bikes together, and never have a problem. I've never seen this protesting bullshit like this until Obama's administration because he led with chaos. All these fake terrorist attacks, dude. There's people dying on the internet, but there's no bodies to back it up. Has anybody went to Post nightclub or even went to Orlando Morgue to see the body count? Has anybody went to Sandy Hook to even question this shit? It's bullshit, bro. That's all it is. It's propaganda.
Oh, man, it's preaching.
I love you.
Man, it's preaching.
I love you.
Oh, Raheem, continue, my man, because you are just going off right now. Continue.
This is what I think.
I'm loving
personally, Trump didn't rub me right because I was falling into the propaganda. But when I sat there and actually used my logic and think, hold on, why don't people want Trump in power? It's because the people have to understand in America, we have elite people working. You have a Jewish Zionist mafia who's pulling America apart from the inside. That's what's happening.
This is beautiful. I'm going to cry.
Listen, they're turning black people and white people against each other. They're out the back door with all the funds. When they gave the people the money back for the Holocaust, when they got their redemption or whatever, those companies, those rich people went and bought up all the American companies and subbed them out. You know what I'm saying? The whole Congress, all of them are Jewish. How does that? What sense does that make? That's not fair. They're not American people. They all got ties to Israel. They're not even American.
Yes, you're
Look
so
at Chicago.
Right.
Look at Chicago's a prime example. Now, if Chicago 300 people get shot in a weekend, they need to really make some decisions. Now, Rahm Emanuel is what? Israeli. He's not American. He's got ties to Israel. He doesn't care. You understand? They create a problem. They offer solutions. What's the solution? More fucking problems. It's the endless downward spiral. It's all KGB psyops. There's no really create a problem with no end to it. The only end is more government. You understand? That's it.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, let me ask you.
I have a question.
As far as this whole Kanye Trump thing is concerned, somebody had made a statement last night on Twitter that said, why is Kanye talking to Trump about Chicago when he could have talked to Obama, who is from Chicago, about Chicago? Isn't it fair to say, because this is the way I responded, isn't it fair to say that Trump cares more about the black community? I didn't use these exact words, but I'm using them now. Trump cares more about the black community than Obama does. Is that a fair
Absolutely
assessment?
does.
Okay. All right. I'm going to give you my theory on that. Kanye doesn't like Obama because Obama came out of nowhere. He has no ties to the black community. He's a super Negro that fell out the sky. Nobody knows nothing about, no childhood friends, no nothing. Where did he come from? He's questionable.
Yeah.
So Kanye knows that. Everybody knows that now. So Obama was never part of no civil rights movement or nothing. Nobody knows where he came from. Okay? So now Kanye, Jay-Z's buddy, Jay-Z's, they're doing a lot of legal activity going on behind Kanye, Jay-Z, Def Jam, iTunes Music, Apple, all this shit. So Kanye is being controlled. He's spitting out what the secret government, the shadow government, and shadow entertainment's doing. He talked about it. Now all of a sudden Kanye's got psychological problems because he spoke the truth. So we live in an inverse society where the people who portray to be the good guys are really the bad guys. You feel me? And
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Americans are
Absolutely.
so psychological control. We are controlled through fucking TV, dude. If you turn the TV off and just look at the situation for what it is, and you can make a logical assessment of what's going on, whether you like to see it or not. I never thought Trump was racist. Me personally, I don't think most Americans are racist. I
Smart
think
man.
Rich people.
Smart man.
I think rich people create these situations to keep them in power. You understand? We're fighting each other. They're out the back door with all our money, everybody's money. You understand? So
you're
that's
the smartest guest we've had on the show yet. You're definitely the smartest guest we've had on the show yet. I'm just saying that.
Because I think I troll all day long. I fuck with people because I can't really get an intellectual conversation out of most people. You understand? So I get bored and I start trolling and ruffle feathers.
Yeah, because you're like Raheem, you are completely different now than you are on Facebook. Like, it's amazing.
Well, now, here's my question for you. And
What's
here,
that?
I have a question for you. Have you always? I mean, okay. So I'm gonna assume you voted for Trump. Yes.
I didn't vote at all because I'm not part.
Okay,
I'm not part. I don't want to be part of the system because I think it's all bullshit. Our
sense.
votes. I think companies put who they want in office. That's what I think.
Yeah. No, I get it. That's fine. But have you always believed the way that you believe now, or has there been an enlightening period, or has Trump helped you see things? Does this election help you see things, or have you always kind of been on this same path of enlightenment?
Me personally, I've been always. People call me conspiracy theorist because I've always been into social studies and just all the shit, current events and everything. So I was always an outcast. So because when they labeled me an outcast, I want to get more knowledge. You understand? So
sure, absolutely.
I've been like this since I was a kid. I used to go to extracurriculum classes for social studies and all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, but Raheem, let me
really
ask you this because I've noticed the chain with something, and I want to get your thoughts on this because I've noticed the chain that every time a black person comes out with a different opinion than the majority of black people, those black people then call that black individual an Uncle Tom or a coon or some derogatory term that's just complete nonsense. Do you realize with some of the stuff that you're saying, you make yourself a target for those type of words? How do you feel? How do you feel about that nonsense?
I feel great. It gives me more power. You want to know why? Because I'm actually touching a nerve in people, and I'm bringing reality. Nobody wants to deal with reality. Nobody wants to know they're getting old. Nobody wants to know that. Nobody wants to know that they're really poor. Everybody wants to live in this fantasy fucking world. That's the problem in America. So nobody wants to deal with reality. Okay. So me, I know I'm making myself a target. I've always been a target my whole life. Like I said, I grew up in a rough neighborhood. I ended up with no felonies, custody of my kids. I'm a single father. I went to college. I did everything I'm supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? So you have to realize black America suffers from a problem called tribalism. Tribalism meaning that they don't understand racial awareness and they don't support their own. You understand? This is why slavery happened. Slavery didn't happen because the white guys pulled up on a boat. Slavery happened because it was practiced in Africa before. And the other countries just exploited it. This is what happened, and it's still going on to this day. This is the problem with Black America. It's tribalism. They don't want. It's tribal warfare. They fight each other. Nobody's ever able to make an organization. Nothing. This is the problem. And people, eugenicists, and everybody knows this, so they create groups. They create separation, and that intensifies everything. You understand? So if I made a group, a black guy said life matters, I'll be a target to the pro-black guys. Then they'll call me Uncle Tom. But in all reality, it's bullshit because I'm not an Uncle Tom. I'm pro-black, but I don't support bullshit. I don't support drugs.
Yes.
I don't support that shit. So I'm wrong for that? Like, come on, really? You know what I'm saying?
No.
Yes.
And see, you're absolutely right. And this is what people they don't understand is that you absolutely should be very proud of your heritage of being black. You should be very proud of that. Just as a white guy should be proud for his heritage and being white. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
But here's the thing. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with being proud of who you are. But what's wrong with both sides? I've seen it with the Black Lives Matter movement, and I've seen it with the alt-right movement. Is
they get hijacked by the wrong people?
Yes.
Yeah.
Amen.
And it can create problems because now you have black people believing lies. You have a lot of black people out here believing lies that's being pumped from BLM. And it's got everybody screwed up in the head, and that it's got all this tension going on, and it's just something's got to be done to stop this.
My friend, this is the effect of the KGB style warfare. It's psychological warfare, dude. It is this fucking endless amount of fake news and propaganda is hijacked the minds of many people. You understand? And this is why nobody quite understood how Obama and his administration were able to do what they did and get away with it because it's psychological warfare. You know what I'm saying? This is the mindset. This is the biggest weapon that we're dealing with. Nobody's shooting guns, really. Nobody's doing it. It's endless amounts of bullshit. That's all it is. And what it does is create so much conflict. Then the government says, "I have to step in," and now I have to seize this building because everybody's fighting over it. Black Lives Matter, me personally, was created to put pressure on the state government by the federal government. George Soros and them created that, and they only strategically attack certain things. Just think about it. Just think about where they went. All the big industrial cities, Baltimore, Milwaukee, St. Louis. If you look at these are strategically picked areas, dude. That's I've seen it happen ever since George Zimmerman did that with Trayvon. That was the start of it, and then it spiraled out of control. And this is how Obama's administration led and how they stayed in power. Fake terrorists, strategic murders.
Well, Raheem, why do you think that everybody wants to talk about police brutality, black oppression, all of this stuff, but nobody wants to talk about the problems within the black community?
Because nobody wants to deal with reality. See, I'm bringing forth reality. Reality is half these dudes don't want families because they don't know what families is. Their families don't know what families is because of the past. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody knows that black community or whatever happened in the past, slavery happened. Okay, that happened. Where do we go from here? You understand? We got to bury that shit. So now, a lot of these dudes don't have a sense of family. Black women are being raised by single black women. They hate men. So eventually, these men are never able to latch onto a family or lack the responsibility. They lack the responsibility to take control of their situation. You understand? So they're always in eternal warfare within themselves. They can't never figure out how to stop the bullshit and just go to work, save your money, because they're over-entertained, they're over-set. And this is all part of the fucking propaganda and psychological warfare. I have a brother. He graduated school and turned to a life of crime. Why? It's because he had no self-control. And how do you keep people in turmoil? Alcohol, entertainment, overly sex. You go to the club. The club has nothing good in it.
Yes.
So you go, you spend your money there. Yeah. You get drunk, you do something stupid. It's the endless fucking cycle. You know what I'm saying? And then
you were preaching. This is amazing.
It all comes down to self-control. I have discipline. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even supposed to be. If America was so racist as it was, I would never end up with custody of my kid. If you do the right shit, people will respect you, no matter what color you are.
Agreed. Absolutely.
That's my thing.
Absolutely. You are absolutely.
I've seen so many. I feel bad. I've seen so many young black dudes that cannot grasp self-control, self-discipline. I didn't grow up. I didn't have my father. I was raised by my grandmother. My mother had me when she was 14 years old. And I had white people my grandmother worked for, took good care of me. They made sure I went to camp. I did a lot of things that inner city kids didn't do. I've experienced different things, so I have a different outlook on life. I had an option. I said, look, I can live like them or I can live like that. So that made me choose how I wanted to live my life. It made me make better decisions. You know?
See,
all right, Raheem. Well, yeah, absolutely. We're running up against the clock.
So you,
all right.
Yeah, we're running up against the clock. So, Raheem, we'll have to get you back on for another interview next week to discuss more.
All right, definitely. Yeah, man, I had fun calling in.
Related issues. Absolutely. So we'll get you back next week. We'll get you back next week, Raheem. We thank you for joining the show, my man.
All right,
thank you very much.
All right.
All right, so Bryden Proctor is going to be joining us here in just a few minutes. And with Bryden, we'll discuss a lot of the Russia nonsense, this Kanye Trump thing, what he thinks of it. Other stuff that we're going to be talking about. Darren Williamson should be with us in a minute. I don't know where Darren is at, but he should be with us any minute. And a lot of things that we're going to get into. There was a Muslim woman who got arrested by the NYPD for lying about getting attacked by Trump supporters. We're going to talk about the Aleppo thing. There's a lot of different stuff that we're going to get into tonight that was interesting throughout the week. But as far as that conversation that we just had, not even a conversation, the lecture from Raheem, I mean, that was great, John. That was pure greatness.
I just added him on Facebook. I really like that guy. I'm wondering, he said he was a conspiracy theorist. There's a website I go to called, because I'm kind of a conspiracy theorist as well, abovetopsecret.com. I wonder if he goes there. I'll have to ask him.
All right, so now
definitely knows what he's talking about.
Now joining us is Mr. Darren Williamson. How you doing tonight, Darren?
I'm doing good. Live from my car.
So we were just we received a lecture from a guy named Raheem, and he gave us a outstanding lecture about the black community and Black Lives Matter, and was just telling us all this stuff about how change needs to come from within rather than blaming the white person for everything. Now, you're not necessarily you say you do believe in black oppression, but you're not necessarily for Black Lives Matter. Is this correct?
No, not really. I mean, I'm for the slogan, but I'm not for what they're trying to push. It's just a bunch of screaming and a bunch of screaming and things that don't pertain to the whole motto, and it's kind of confusing because it's like they're, I just don't like it, man.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, now joining us is oh, wait a minute. Go. Bryden's with us, by the way, but go ahead, John.
Okay. Well, I have a question for him. I'm just curious because he said that he likes the slogan, and that's one of the things I have a severe problem with. If it depends on the answer to this question, though, are you okay with a White Lives Matter group?
Wow. I mean, I don't care, man. It doesn't matter.
Okay. There you go. That's good. That's all I wanted to know.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter to Dan. All right, well, joining us now is Bryden Proctor, host of Right to Bryden on NewMediaCentral.net. Bryden, first question for you. Who should be the real darling of the alt-right, you or Milo?
Well, Milo Yiannopoulos is not alt-right, and nor should I be the darling of the alt-right. I think we all reluctantly say that Richard Spencer is kind of our PR guy at the moment, but there's many names that should be checked out, such as especially Jared Taylor, some of the old school guys, Brimelow, Jim Goad, all of these guys. There's no real darling of the alt-right. There is, but Milo Yiannopoulos, as he would likely tell you, is not part of the alt-right by any means, and I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about what the alt-right actually is. So, way to fucking come right out of the cannon, dude. Well,
I think a lot. Yeah, I just had to ask a question. Yeah, but as far as the alt-right, because I agree with you that a lot of different. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I just had to ask you.
Wasn't even like a hey, how you doing? It was like right out of the fucking cannon.
I had to, man. I was just curious to see if you could. Well, do you consider yourself at least a darling, maybe not the darling, but a darling of the alt-right, or you don't consider yourself alt-right?
I'm not a darling of the alt-right. I very much push forward the agenda. I push forward the agenda. I would love to be a darling of the alt-right, but the thing is, I'm not a darling. Yeah. I mean,
but you definitely have the potential.
Listen, I push forward the agenda. I'm a friend of the alt-right. If anybody ever asked, I would tell them absolutely I am alt-right. It's neither here nor there for me to say one way or another. All I know is that I give a fuck about white people, and I care about the preservation of white cultures. Okay, cool. So yeah, I give a fuck about white people, and I care about white cultures, and I read more and more. And the alt-right is about preserving Western civilization, which is built by whites, and it's about preserving white people and white cultures and white nations. And I'm on board with that. The 14 words: we must do the existence of our people and a future for white children. And I can totally agree with that, especially even like as a fag. You know, it's something that I have to deal with. It's like, okay, well, I would like to have a kid, even though I'm gay. I'd like to have a kid.
Why is that funny?
Amazing.
Why is that funny? No, here's the thing: that the alt-right is not what the media makes you believe it is. That's the truth right there. If you're listening to Hillary Clinton, MSNBC, CNN, and what they think the alt-right is, that is not what the alt-right is. So that myth has got to be done away with. Second, why is that funny?
I just think that the best definition of the alt-right from what I've seen, because it seems to be a lot of different groups snowballed into one, I just think it's people who don't agree with mainstream conservatism. Is that a fair assessment to make?
No. Let me put a stop to that. No, let me put a fucking stop to that right now, because that's not what it is. Mike Cernovich, Milo Yiannopoulos, Paul Joseph Watson, they are not alt-right. What the alt-right is an identitarian movement, largely, which believes that Europe and Western nations that are white nations, America is a white Christian nation, should be preserved as white nations and remain in dominant control as far as demographics go, because otherwise we lose what we are. And that people should start to look into their roots. White people should look into their roots and find, next week I'm so excited I get to be able to do the 23andMe, and then in 6 to 8 weeks I will find out how white I actually am. But talking to my grandmother, I am very Irish and Dutch. These are important things to know about your roots. I've done a video on how black people, unfortunately, have the same problem with this as they are just told you're black. They don't know. Maybe you're Haitian. Maybe you're Jamaican. You don't know. They need to look into that. People need to look into their roots and identify who they are and have this identity. Because you can say, okay, I have this identity. My name is Bryden Proctor. I like to wear suits all the time. Okay, let's scrape it down. My name is Bryden Proctor. I happen to have a stupid haircut. Let's scrape it down. My name is Bryden Proctor. I happen to have tattoos. Okay, let's scrape it down. My name is Bryden Proctor. Okay, where did that name come? My mom came up with it. Okay, let's scrape it down a little bit more. At the very, very core of you, what you find in identity that are not elective identities are your race and where you came from. And to be in touch with that is so important. And European Americans need to wake up and realize that we are just as important as any other race. And to have guilt over this is ridiculous. So that's what the alt-right is about.
Well, let me ask you, Bryden, because one of the people that you were talking with on my Facebook page had messaged me and blatantly asked me the question of, is Bryden a racist? How do I answer that? Are you a racist, or are you more of a white nationalist? What do you consider yourself as?
I definitely make racist jokes.
Doesn't make you a racist, though.
Yeah, no, I definitely make racist jokes. Am I a white nationalist? I think white nationalist is a little bit too much of an old term. I don't think that it's really fitting for the current day of the things that I believe or who we are as a movement or who I am. But if you would want to ask, yes, I would freely call myself a white nationalist. But that doesn't mean that I hate black people or anything like that. I just think the guys on your Facebook are dickheads. So I decided to go after them.
That's because they are.
I mean, if they're going to be dickheads. Yeah, if they're going to be dickheads, I'm going to go after them in any way that I can because I'm a really funny person. That's that's fine. Like I know who you're talking about, and like I even went after the guy for no reason today. He was like this. He made a thing about Kanye, who I love, by the way, and he said like, oh, it's the first post of yours that I like, and I posted a picture of a slave getting whipped, and I said nobody cares what you think, Toby. And like it was funny, and then he even fired back. He was like, oh, you meth head with mother issues. By the way, the name is Kunta. And I was like, this guy's funny. That's awesome. And that's what we need. We need more of that. Like, he finally got over being butthurt about that. Because like, yeah, I was racist to him. But the thing is, it doesn't mean that I hate him for his race. It means I used his race against him to piss him off. But, it's happened a couple times, and now he's firing back at me, and it was funny. It gave me a good chuckle. I like him more for that. I think he may be a cool dude.
Now, Darren, you're not pro BLM. You're not in this BLM nonsense. But as a black man, when you hear these thoughts from Bryden, does this bother you? You just don't care, or what?
You know what? You just got. If people have an opinion about something, and I mean, he's talking about himself, I mean, what harm is he really doing? I prefer not to really tell racist jokes just because I don't know. You never know with people nowadays. They get sensitive and everything. So I wouldn't really step in that area. But I mean, if you want to do it, go ahead, man. It's just not going to happen with me because I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? I can't do that.
Well, that's. I'm sorry. What is your name?
My name is Darren Williamson.
Darren. I just ordered a book on Amazon last night by a man by the name of Talib Stark, who wrote. I'm excited to read this book. It's called The Uncivil War: Blacks versus Niggers, and it's about. He's a black man, obviously. His name's Talib. About the subculture of. Really trashy, kind of bad black people versus, I would imagine, people like yourself. Do you find yourself kind of on the outliers on this? I mean, what I found through my research and through reading many books by like Philip Ruskin and things like that is that the black community is kind of at odds with itself over these types of things, but they can never be challenged. And that's why I have kind of made it my mission for at least the past year to challenge black people on this and go, can you explain why your culture is so piss poor? I'd love to hear it.
To elaborate on that, I actually really, it's funny because I agree. Like you said, that book is black versus nigger. It's funny. That term nigger, I really don't get offended by that, honestly, because people sometimes take it out of context. Like, really a white person, you could call a white person a nigger. Actually, it originated from Italy, that word. So,
I have before, just saying.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You could call somebody that if they're ignorant. You know what I'm saying? That's what it really means. But to answer your question, yeah, I agree with you. There are a lot of I'm not trying to be an Uncle Tom, but I'm saying there are some stupid there are some
but Darren, why do you think that why do you think that is? Every time a black person disagrees with the majority of black people, they automatically get called an Uncle Tom or a coon or whatever it may be. Why is that?
I couldn't. It's a black thing, Andrew. You couldn't understand it. You couldn't understand it.
I can tell you. I could tell you why, Andrew.
Are you black? Are you black, sir?
Me? No. I'm very, very white.
Come on, man. Don't speak on it. Don't speak on it.
Well, these are just studies that have been done. These are studies that have been done that have shown that people of African descent have extremely high self-esteem and are very reactionary and do not have long-term thinking in the same way that Asians are really good at long-term thinking.
Can't agree with that study, sir. That's a generalization.
But it's simply science.
It's a study.
I mean, look at Philip Rushton. Do you want a copy of Race, Behavior, and Evolution? I'll send it to you.
I just think that's
serious.
a generalization. I think that's a little bit of a generalization because, I mean, you have some humans that are just...
I'm not saying, but obviously not every person. There's always going to be outliers. I mean, that's, yeah, sure. But, like, I mean, I'm taking this from my actual day-to-day life. It's been 4 days since I was, like, sitting with my boss and we're going on a sales call. And I just see this guy who's totally handcuffed running on the street with a motorcycle cop yelling at him. And it's like, whatever he did totally didn't warrant him running off and getting more 3 years. I'm not, that's LA, dude. That's the way that it is. But it's shorter term thinking and that type of thing. But if you talk to blacks, they have a higher self-esteem constantly, which is a good and a bad thing. We're not, nobody's better than each other, but we're different. Asians have very low self-esteem.
I agree with you. I so agree
of course. I'm just saying blacks have higher self-esteem, but Asians very low self-esteem. White somewhere in the middle. White people just tend to be somewhere in the middle on kind of everything.
Barney, let me ask you this, because you're bringing up all these studies and all these different books you read. So I know for a fact that you've probably done research into stuff like this, but can you explain to me, stereotypically, the black culture is violent and 13% of the population is responsible for 50% of the murder rate. That proves it. Why is black culture like that?
Well, okay, that's a very, very complicated thing, Andrew. And actually, if you want to really start to break it down, blacks are only 13% of the U.S. population, but black males who perpetuate most of the violence are somewhere around 6% of the population. And women murder at a far less rate. So what we have is these black males that are killing each other at an astounding rate. Now, what it is, without saying it's the Jews, but...
You can say
yeah, it's a perpetuation of certain types of like media and things like that, and this masochismo culture that is okay. Yeah, I am. I'm the biggest, baddest on the block. Well, when media start kind of playing into that and saying, hey, if you're the biggest and baddest on the block, you're going to be a rap star. You're going to be an NBA star, things like that. You're the best. You're the best. Drug dealing's fine. Let's mainstream that through rap music. It perpetuated this culture, this horrible little culture, and it has done nothing but been terrible for the black community. And then who has come along to try to quote unquote help the black community? But race baiters like Al Sharpton and the like, and they say, hey, it's not your fault. And what that does is it feeds into that black ego, which they already have high self-esteem, and they go, this is not my fault. This is not my fault that it's like this. I have to go sell drugs. I have to go out and do this. And that's what has happened. And that's why we're stuck in the situation that we're in. And that's why around little under 13% of the population are causing half the homicides. And the black on white violence rate is through the roof compared to the black on white violence rate. The black on black violence rate is where you get most of this, 48 to 52% each year. The black community is in absolute turmoil. I really, really wish that somebody was able to reach them, help them, and stop them from killing one another.
So last question, and then we'll go ahead and get you out of here. And I kind of want to switch topics here for the last question. This whole Russian nonsense. Julian Assange of WikiLeaks was on Hannity's radio show the other day. I want to play this clip for you, and then I want to ask.
Intelligence contradicts that, in fact, the Russians tried to influence the elections, and this hacked information came from them, and you're saying that is outright false. That's a falsehood.
Our source is not the Russian government.
So, in other words, let me be clear. Russia did not give you the Podesta documents or anything from the DNC.
That's correct.
Can you confirm whether or not you have information involving hacked info from the RNC?
We received about 3 pages of information to do with the RNC and Trump, but it was already public somewhere else.
Okay, so in other words, there was nothing significant. There was nothing comparable to what happened. So what Reince Priebus said on NBC to Chuck Todd this weekend was true, and NBC had it wrong.
Well, as far as we're aware of.
As far as you're aware of.
Yeah.
And there are also inside sources within the Democratic Party saying that Bernie Sanders supporters within the party are the ones who actually leaked the emails to WikiLeaks, that Russia had nothing to do with the hacking. So why is Obama still pushing that narrative, Bryden?
Well, I want to come out and say, as far as my sources know, which are few. I mean, I'm not like a big guy or anything like that. But Seth Rich. Let's all remember his name. Seth Rich is the man that gave the DNC leaks to WikiLeaks. That
the one that was murdered back in July, correct?
Yes. Seth Rich is the one that handed that over. Seth Rich was the leak for the DNC. Podesta, as far as my sources know, which I don't want to give anybody up. Even John Stutsman, I don't. Sorry, buddy, I don't talk to you about this type of shit. It was more than likely Iran. That was just, whatever, which is closely tied to Russia, absolutely. But Seth Rich is the one that gave up the DNC things, and he died for this, and he died for us. So that's the thing. Why is Obama doing this? That's a great question, Andrew. He has nothing else to lose. We need to remember that Obama is not even a native-born citizen. We have been lied to for the past 8 years. Okay, he's not even a native-born citizen. Sergio Pio fucking had a conference about this and concluded, their investigation concluded that his birth certificate was a lie. So
fake.
Yeah, it was fake. Now, why would he do this? He has nothing to lose. The thing is, their guy lost. They tried, and we got a man who is of the people, Mr. Donald Trump, who beat the system entirely. He beat both parties, and he beat the media. They're freaking out. They're pooping their pants right now. They have no idea what to do. Of course he's going to try to go on and just make up a whole bunch of nonsense. That's why Obama's going to push this, and he's going to continue to push this. And up until Monday, I'm not going to have a really good night's sleep because I'm waiting. I'm waiting, because I need them to go ahead. I did a thing about it on my show, actually. They got D-list celebrities to come along and go like, oh, hey, we would respect you if you didn't vote for Trump, Mr. Electoral College figures.
Yeah.
But they're going to try everything.
It's not going to work.
It's not going to work, and it's going to happen. And people need to buckle in for a second and wait, for at least 2 years.
Yeah. Don't lose any sleep over that.
Are you worried about the electors flipping? Are you worried about the electors flipping?
I'm worried about everything. I'm always worried. I always say, don't count your chickens before they soar up. They can pull out anything, man, and don't ever put it past them. They're trying to, as we started at the top of this call here, they're trying to frame the alt-right as neo-Nazis. That's simply not true. They're trying to flip the electoral voters. That's simply retarded. The left will stop at nothing to shut us down. That's the end of it. And we need to stop believing that we can be friends with them or say that we can get along with them or anything like that. And I'm sorry to the lefty on the call here, but the thing is, your days are done, son. I'm sorry. I hate that for you, but you've got to come along to the right side because your party
it's impossible
will continue to
get
move
along with
the
further
correct
left.
side.
Well, your party will continue to move further left, and then they're going to kick you out too. So, that's the way that it's happening. We need to crush them and absolutely destroy them, and we need to stand up for white people and we need to stand up for the actual working class. That's why you notice none of these commies go out there and they talk to the actual working class because they're scared. They're scared of the working class. They don't know anything about them. So that's why we are winning, and we will continue to win. If you look at from 2008 all the way up to 2016, all they've done is lose ground. And that's why we are so important, and that's why the alt-right is so important. And advocating for white people is so important, is we're going to end up, all we're asking for is a seat at the table. And we're going to get a seat at the table. And then we'll find out what's going on.
Fellas, democracy is over. I'm telling you guys right now. That's all I'm
do you think that, I'm sorry, hold on. Do you think that this country's ever been a democracy? That's a silly thing. You know it's not, right?
Yeah.
You said,
it's never been a democracy.
It's not.
I can't really hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? Democracy. America's never been a democracy. You know that, right?
Yeah, of course. It's always been a republic, but the illusion of democracy is coming to an end.
Well, I mean, are you upset with the rise of the alt-right?
No.
That's my man right there. Seriously, I like this guy. No, well, you're gonna follow us soon. You know, we're gonna be in your face real soon.
I'm sorry. I'm not affiliated with anything. And as far as the black community is concerned, if the black community was listening right now, we need to be separate. We need to stop trying to be friends with everybody. That's what we need to stop doing.
Do you know
all of y'all are crazy, man.
Sir, do you know that is what the alt-right is saying? Because I agree with
exactly
you.
what they're saying.
I agree with you. I think seriously, like, go tell your friends, and like you and I can get together and like start a movement to make sure that black people and white people don't have to put up with each other anymore. Because the thing is, we can like have phone conversations and be nice and John, but like trying to build societies together, we can't coexist.
So wait a minute. Wait a minute. So Darren, are you saying that black people and white people need to be separated from each other?
Yes.
They're incompatible
cultures. I love Darren. Okay, Darren is sweet. Darren, add me on Facebook. Exactly.
Yeah, but how do you explain somebody like me who is extremely to the right nowadays? I date a black woman who is also extremely to the right. So how does that work?
See, now I can't explain that. See, what's gonna have to happen is if your woman wants to, still intermingle, that's fine. That's her. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I can't say anything. But I still feel that we should be separate.
Bryden and Darren are absolutely correct, though, Andrew. The two cultures are not compatible whatsoever. If you look at the genetics of it and the scientific facts of it, they are not compatible whatsoever. It's like it's like taking a group of humans from planet Earth and putting it on another random planet with other human beings and expecting them to get along right away.
Right.
Yeah, but John, you heard what Raheem was saying earlier, that his best friend is white, his woman is white, and he gets along fine with them.
Okay.
So we can't make that generalization, can we?
But also, like Bryden said, it's not. You can't say it's that way for every single person. There's always going to be a couple random people out there, a few random people out there that's going to be different, and it will work. There's always, you're always going to have those oddballs that it may work.
But you're talking about the majority.
Overall,
you're talking about the majority.
I don't think so. I think the majority will not work.
Yeah, but no, that's what I'm saying. You're talking about the majority are not compatible with each other. The majority are not.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
That is the message of the alt-right.
For the most part, that is correct, though. If you look at the racial tension in this country and all the problems that we have, for the most part, that is correct. That is absolutely correct.
They're trying to throw two groups together that really don't want or can be together. And of course, you're going to have a battle royale.
No. It's even bigger than that. Because remember, the left, as you guys call them, are into multiculturalism, not just not just white and
No,
black.
they're not.
I'm talking
No, they're not. They want to take
Whoa.
advantage of minorities for votes and power. It has nothing to do with caring for them. It has everything to do with votes and power.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Right.
At the expense of all that Jews doing that at the expense of whites in white nations.
Yes.
If you notice,
Yes.
multiculturalism is only pushed into white nations. They're not pushing multiculturalism into fucking Nigeria. It's just not the thing. So like, they're totally on point.
No, they did gentrify the southern Africa though.
I agree.
Yeah,
but
so I mean, they did try.
I'm not going to get into that argument.
And
I'm not going to get into that argument. It was actually
all right, so we'll go ahead and end it here. Brian Proctor, host of Right to Brian, and make sure you check him out on newmediacentral.net. Does somebody have a final word?
I do. I have a 3-second question for Bryden. Just please calm everyone's nerves. Kanye West is not going to be on Trump's cabinet.
No, he's not. I wish he was.
Thank you.
Awesome. I love Kanye so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm tired of being
Kanye. I'm going to listen to him right now. Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, Brian.
I love Kanye.
Brian, we'll talk soon, man. We do appreciate you calling into the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. You have a good one. Darren, add me on Facebook.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
Yes, sir. All right, so that was a very, very interesting question. So, Darren, I've never heard that thought from you. You feel like that white people and black people, for the most part, are not compatible with each other. That is an interesting thought.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go biblical with it today. I don't feel like going biblical with it, but yeah, I feel as though we need to be separate.
So what do you think is the solution? Do you think that we should send black people or white people to a particular nation, or what should we do about this?
Yeah, I think black people should start their own nation. Shoot, not within the nation, but start their own nation.
Do you want to know what I think is going to happen? And I'm the conspiracy theory in the group. I totally get this. You can call me conspiracy theory nut. That's fine. What I think is going to happen is eventually there really is going to be a civil war, and it's probably going to be sooner rather than later, and the two groups are going to separate. And it's not going to be completely on racial lines, but it's going to be hugely on racial lines. You'll have the Californians and the Far East Coasters will be in this group as well, but there will be a civil war, and it will split, and there will be no reconciliation at that point. It will be a divided. Yeah,
we'll have to get more into this.
I'm sorry, Andrew. The reawakening is about to happen. We've been in slavery for almost 400 years since 1619, right? So now it's
you're not in slavery now.
Yeah, but still, it's 2019. It's been 400 years, and there's a certain prophecy that's coming out as far as black people knowing themselves and separating from this country.
Here's the thing. You're not in slavery right now. So don't pretend that you're enslaved.
Maybe it's not like how it was when we were first brought here, but now you can call it economic slavery because some black people.
Come on!
Really?
Are you really? Is this really what we're going to do, though?
If that's what you're going to say, then Darren. If that's what you're going to say, then Darren, then white people are part of that group as well. It's not a racial. It's not a racial thing. It's because then there's slavery in the white population as well. Then, if you're going to put it on economic basis,
no, Darren, because the other day on Twitter, you put something up like white people are not oppressed. I can't remember exactly what the tweet read, but you were basically saying that white people can't complain about being oppressed. But did you know that statistically there are more white people on food stamps and welfare than blacks?
Yeah, but are you necessarily oppressed because you're on those programs?
Yes, because we're not allowed to have a white entertainment television. We're not allowed to have a White Lives Matter. We're not allowed to have a white college fund. We're not allowed to have all these groups that African Americans are allowed to have. We're not allowed to have it, and that's oppressive to us.
Who said you're not allowed? You're allowed to do whatever you want.
Oh yeah.
No.
Do that.
Oh no. There would be an uprising if that happened.
Yeah. That would never happen.
Yeah, I know. See, okay, yeah. I understand. Okay, I understand that. That doesn't necessarily mean to me at least, doesn't mean that you're oppressed. But I understand where you guys are. I feel I understand where y'all coming from.
You can
get
a college education.
Hold on.
No,
there would definitely be unrest if they started a White Lives Matter. I feel as though that is true. I feel as though that is true.
Also, you have to admit, and this is true facts. You can get a.
We need to move on from this.
You can faster than I can.
Move
Just
on.
Saying.
Yeah, let's move on from this because the whole show so far has been full of just racial talk, and we have a knack of here on the show between me, Kelvin, and John of coming on here every week and having like the first hour of the show being about race. And we gotta stop that, man, because we gotta get off. Yeah, we really do. But I do want to move on to this Russian thing because there's still no evidence reported from any person who reported this. There's no evidence from the CIA. Leftists in their media like to demonize having a relationship at all with Russia. And I want to ask you guys this. What exactly is wrong with having a good relationship with a country that has nuclear weapons and we're also profiting greatly from in the oil industry as well? What is exactly wrong with that?
I really don't know. I really don't know.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
Know.
I mean, you had, and as far as this whole no evidence thing, you had a media company like the New York Times. They posted a story about this whole Russia hacking thing. The article is 21 paragraphs long. They did not reveal whatsoever that there wasn't any evidence until the 20th paragraph in this particular story. This is the kind of media that we're dealing with. And if you really want to boil down to the facts and get down to the bottom of everything, there's actually more evidence to support a crazy-ass, nonsensical story of Pizzagate than there is this Russian hacking. And,
I know. Yes, there is.
All I've heard for years have been leftists criticizing the right for conspiracy theories. Hillary criticized conspiracy theories. And now all of them are partaking in one of the biggest conspiracy theories in our country's history. And all the people who are denying this, because the CIA came out that Russia hacked the election. A CIA analyst declared the CIA story a lie. The FBI denied it. The ODNI denied it. A top spy agency denied it. And the CIA wants you to believe that they found proof that Russia hacked the election, but they couldn't even help the FBI find 30,000 emails. But they're pretty sure. It was Russia. And I'm not over exaggerating that term. That's what they use, that we're pretty sure it was Russia. No evidence whatsoever, but we're pretty sure. And how come, and the biggest thing that bothers me throughout this whole thing, is how come nobody is talking about the content from the DNC's emails? Because we found out that Donna Brazile gave Hillary Clinton debate questions and was working even more with Hillary while she was working with CNN. We found out that most Clinton donors are foreign, especially from countries who abuse women and homosexuals, two groups that she claims to champion. We found out that they planned distractions from the email. They planned out using Russian propaganda against Trump since April. We found out she was extremely friendly with Wall Street after lying about it. We found out she colluded with nearly every mainstream media outlet. We found out that she's a big believer in globalism. We found out that she believes in having a private and a public position on policies. We found out that she did hide the emails. We found out that she did bleach them. The list goes on and on and on and on. And I want everybody to just let this sink in for a minute.
I know, man.
The left.
It's crazy.
Well, here's my thing.
But wait a minute though. I got a few more thoughts. Because I got a lot of stuff to get on my chest with this stuff. And then you can go ahead and feel free to say what you got to say. But I just want everybody to let this sink in for a minute. The left is risking a war with Russia over power. That's all that we're dealing with here. Hillary wants to push the story that Trump is best friends with Putin, but let me ask the question. Who sold uranium to Russia for profit? Leftists are also pushing the narrative that Russia hacked the Brexit vote as well. That's desperation. And Democrats aren't even mad that Hillary and Obama have helped fund ISIS, but they're mad at Trump for something that they have no evidence to support. And all of these years, and even now the Republicans call the Democrats communists. And now it's the GOP magically with the one who has the Russia problem. The left sided with the Soviet Union against the United States during the Cold War era. We all know this stuff. But now all of a sudden, they're trying to be tough on Russia. And is it because Russia isn't communist anymore like the lefties? Because that's the impression that I'm getting. The same people who are pushing for these safe spaces are the same ones pushing an agenda that could potentially start a war with Russia. And more hypocrisy. More hypocrisy that I want to point out. Back in 2012, this was a debate between Obama and Mitt Romney, and they were talking about Russia. This is what Obama said back in 2012.
When you were asked what's the biggest geopolitical threat facing America, you said Russia. Not Al-Qaeda, you said Russia. And the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back because the Cold War has been over for 20 years.
Okay, so he said back in 2012 that Russia is not a threat. They're not a threat whatsoever. But now here, magically in 2016, they are.
There is no doubt that when any foreign government tries to impact the integrity of our elections, that we need to take action, and we will, at a time and place of our own choosing. Some of it may be explicit and publicized, some of it may not be. But Mr. Putin is well aware of my feelings about this because I spoke to him directly about it.
So there's complete hypocrisy, a complete flip. As far as threats are concerned, I would not be surprised if illegal immigrants and dead people voting by the millions are more of a threat to our elections than Russia. And the audacity of this man Obama, this is what he said about Russia yesterday in the press conference. Like, listen to this.
The Russians can't change us or significantly weaken us. They are a smaller country. They are a weaker country. Their economy doesn't produce anything that anybody wants to buy except oil and gas and arms. They don't innovate.
He is deliberately trying to start a war with Russia.
Yeah, that's...
Go ahead. Feel free.
Okay, because I have a bunch I want to say about this too. Like, I'm going to start from where you ended and then go backwards, because you're right. Like, I don't. This Russia thing is just ridiculous. Obama is trying to start a war with Russia because, and I think you're right. I think it's because Russia is going against communist ideas, and the left is going towards communist ideas, and that's exactly where they're having this go. But really, this all is stupid from the very perspective of back in September, everyone on the left thought Donald Trump was absolutely bonkers, nutcase, white-green conspiracy that it's possible that our election could be hacked or stolen away from us by anything. CNN even had articles that said it is not possible for our election to be hacked. Not possible. Yet now, somehow they're saying that, now we think maybe they could be. No. Which is it? Like, either it can or cannot be. It can't be both. And you're right. You're absolutely right. Jill Stein, her one of her recounts just came back. I think it was the one in Michigan. One of them came back 131 more votes for Trump. The other one came back where there was more people voted Democrats than there were actually Democrats living there. So that recount didn't go so well. So the voting, the dead people voting thing and the illegal people voting thing is probably a way bigger threat. But I just think it's funny. They called Donald Trump crazy for saying it, and now they're saying it. But God forbid we call them crazy. It's just, I don't know. The whole thing doesn't make any sense.
I forgot about that. He did definitely. I don't know if you guys probably might say it was jokingly, but he did invite. I remember he did invite the Russians to hack, because I remember he said that in one of his speeches. He was like, I don't know if they're hacking, but if they are, keep doing it. But I think he was talking about WikiLeaks, actually, so never mind.
No. It wasn't that necessarily. He was just talking about the election in general being rigged and possibly being hacked by foreign entities. When he said this, I'll have to look it up. It wasn't in the. I know which one you're talking about, though, and that was a joke. But he has said, hey, it's possible this could be. The election could be hacked and rigged for Hillary, and I think he was kind of alluding to the fact that maybe like a Soros-backed type of thing could be hacking it in favor of Hillary.
Yeah.
But they said, oh, no, that's impossible.
Speaking of Soros, I'm getting a little off topic, but I remember I watched this video where he said that Trump is going to win the popular vote, but Hillary Clinton was going to win. And,
I saw that as well.
That didn't happen. That never happened.
Completely wrong. I think that they planned it out like that. They tried to rig the election. It's just that the Trump movement was so overwhelming. It was so overwhelming they didn't expect it. They didn't expect people to come out in the masses and vote for Trump like they did. They got completely overwhelmed, and it's amazing.
Yeah. They got overwhelmed and sidetracked and blindsided. They didn't know who they really needed to be targeting. It was just a mess for them. They tried, though. I'm sure they tried.
I don't know. So for the past two elections, the past two presidents have surprisingly won when you thought the odds were against them. That's pretty ironic to me, because I know people thought Obama was not. I know people thought Obama wasn't going to win in 2008. I know that there was no doubt. Because
I thought pretty much everyone knew he was going to win. He was black.
No,
he was going to win.
Because look, remember Hillary Clinton, the leaks ran in 2008. You would think that everybody was like, oh, Hillary's gonna take this just because of her name, and then Obama.
No, they wanted Obama.
Huh?
No, they at least wanted Obama in 2008. They wanted Obama in 2008. They didn't want Hillary then. They didn't. They wanted to get because the reason why they wanted Obama is for the racial division and for the race vote. That's why they wanted Obama then. Of course, they did want her in 2016 this year. They wanted her this year, but they did not want her.
All right.
Obama was the elitist pick. Yeah.
I don't
know. All right. Final thoughts on this, Darren.
Yeah. Nothing. Never mind. I'm not gonna say it because it would bring up another
He
conversation.
said nothing. Never mind. All right. So let's go ahead and get to Donald Trump. So let's go ahead and get to Donald Trump's weekly tweet.
Are never, ever, ever getting rid of Twitter. We will make America great again. God bless you. I love you. Because we are never, ever, ever, ever getting rid of Twitter.
So it's just going to be a joy to follow this guy on Twitter for the next 4 years and even maybe the next 8 years. This is going to be absolutely glorious. So the first tweet of Donald Trump's weekly tweets, are we talking about the same cyber attack where it was revealed that head of the DNC illegally gave Hillary the question to the debate? Love that. I just love the honesty of this guy. It's just amazing. Next tweet. If Russia or some other entity was hacking, why did the White House wait so long to act? Why did they only complain after Hillary lost? Unless you catch hackers in the act, it is very hard to determine who was doing the hacking. Why wasn't this brought up before the election? That is a valid question, though. Why wasn't it brought up before the election? Now all of a sudden it's magically being brought up? I mean,
kind of did bring it up before the election. He did, but no one else did. They call him nuts for it. I don't know.
The next tweet, the media tries so hard to make my move to the White House as it pertains to my business so complex when actually it isn't. And the media is trying to make everything very, very complicated for Donald Trump. But it seems to me that if nothing is going to bother Trump by now, if nothing has bothered him by now, what makes you think it's going to bother him now when he's the president-elect? Like, it's just so pointless.
It's not about bothering Trump. It's about bothering us, the voters.
Probably. Thank you to Time Magazine and Financial Times for naming me Person of the Year. A great honor. Woo! Yes. Trump. Has anyone looked at the really poor numbers of Vanity Fair magazine? Way down, Big Trouble, dead. Graydon Carter, no talent, will be out. Oh, I love the bluntness of this guy.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Don't care.
He's destroying political correctness one day at a time. I can't get enough of it. Bill Gates and Jim Brown in my Trump Tower office yesterday, two great guys, Have you guys seen anybody calling Jim Brown an Uncle Tom or a coon or any of these derogatory terms? Have you guys seen this?
I'll answer this because I'm melanated. So, I've you know what? Most people, honestly, around me, and most of the black community really are not watching the media, so they don't either. It's only like the younger generation, but yeah, they're not calling him an Uncle Tom because they don't even know what that means. They're just saying, they're just saying he's a sellout, blah 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 blah, this and that. But he's really not. And then it was really more about Kanye because they don't really know who Jim Brown is anyway. So.
Yeah, pretty much. And I just want to point out that Shaq and Ray Lewis also met with Trump, which I found that amazing. Just imagine big Shaquille, who by the way, Darren is related to. I completely forgot about that. Darren is related to Shaquille O'Neal, who met with Donald Trump.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So his mother and my grandmother are cousins, so we're distant cousins. But
have you guys
met
ever
him
met?
I met him at a reunion 2 years ago. It was in New Jersey. Yeah. So when he sometimes says like after a show he'll say Turner family, I love you. He's not talking about TNT. He's talking about his mother's side of the family because their name is Turner.
That's awesome.
The next tweet, the thing I like best about Rex Tillerson is that he has vast experience at dealing successfully with all types of foreign governments. I actually agree with that move. I did not see an issue with that move.
Wait,
Wisconsin.
Ben Carson, you were talking about?
No, Rex Tillerson.
No, Tillman.
Oh, okay. I don't really know too much about him, so anyway.
Wisconsin and Pennsylvania have just certified my wins in those states. I actually picked up additional votes. The final Wisconsin vote is in, and guess what? We just picked up an additional 131 votes. The Democrats and Green Party can now rest. Scam. And absolutely it was. That's why you're seeing this Russia story picking up so much steam, because it was such a scam. Next tweet. I have chosen one of the truly great business leaders of the world, Rex Tillerson, chairman and CEO of ExxonMobil, to be Secretary of State. So that was the move, Darren. Even though I am not mandated by law to do so, I will be leaving my businesses before January 20th so that I can focus full-time on the presidency. 2 of my children, Don and Eric, plus executives, will manage them. No new deals will be done during my terms in office. By law, you do not have to give up your businesses if you are the president of the United States? Is that true?
Absolutely not. That is true.
Interesting. The F-35 program cost is out of control. Billions of dollars can and will be saved on military and other purchases after January 20th. Love that tweet.
I like that.
Love that mindset.
I like that tweet.
Going to spend money in the right places. Absolutely. Smart move. Can you imagine?
I just hope he does it.
Can you? Yeah, I think he will. I think we'll be fine in that department.
Donald J. Trump?
I mean, he is a billionaire. He's good with budgeting. So, yeah, I'm sure he's going to do a good job with this. Next week, can you imagine if the election results were the opposite and we tried to play the Russia CIA card? It would be called conspiracy theory. Absolutely. He couldn't have been more on point with that. If this was the right doing this and say that Russia hacked it to help Hillary, they would be calling it conspiracy theory left and right and hopping all over us. We know this for a fact. And the last tweet, and this is glorious, just watched NBC Nightly News. So biased, so inaccurate, and so bad, point after point, just can't get much worse. Although CNN is right up there. I love that. That is great. Oh, it's so amazing. Donald Trump, I'm loving that we now live in Trump's America. We are living in Trump's America where political correctness is BS, and I love it. We've got to stop the PC culture because that is a nonsense culture. They do not believe in freedom of speech. They do not believe in American freedom, and they do not believe in democracy, and it has to be put to an end. Thank God Almighty for electing Donald Trump. Kanye West. Kanye West and Donald Trump met up earlier in the week. This is a little bit of their meeting when they were talking to the press after their meeting.
Kanye, what did you guys discuss in your meeting today?
Just friends, and he's a good man. Doing well. Long time. We've been friends for a long time. Life. We discussed it.
Money in 2020. Do you think that's something you still want to do in light of this meeting? Kanye, are you considering performing at the inauguration this year? Kanye, no comment about your meeting with the president-elect. The president-elect of the United States, nothing to say?
I just want to take a picture right now.
Do you wish you were voting for him, Kanye?
And you take care of yourself. I'll see you soon. All right?
I mean, that it was the most glorious meeting I believe I've ever seen in presidential history. Kanye West and Donald Trump meeting at the Trump Tower. Wait, obviously I'm joking, John, but you have to admit it's very glorious. I mean, the fact that you thought I was serious about that, I mean, what the hell are you talking about right now? But what were you saying, Darren?
No, I was about to say, I just found this article from ABC. It said Obama says Clinton was not treated fairly during election, but listen.
Yeah, I saw that nonsense.
But
I mean, that's
no,
just
but
nonsense.
No, but look. So they asked him if Hillary Clinton lost because the Russia reported hacking our Clinton's campaign servers. He said he pivoted and went after the media. So is he learning from Trump or something? Like he pivoted to the media. He pivoted to the media in regards to Clinton. It's kind of stirring the fusion even more blatant. Like it's like if somebody is watching this closely, like word for word on both sides, they're confused. They don't know what's going on right now. That's why I choose to just stay out of this and let it play out. I think we're self-destructing like Rome did way back centuries ago. So I'm just enjoying this happening because I have no fight in this, and I know where I'm going. So.
No, I'll tell you who's really destructing. I'll tell you who's really in destruction mode. The bleeping media, man. The friggin' listen to this. The friggin' media is destructed. The media is blowing up. A nuclear bomb is all over the media right now after this nonsense.
Hey, check out who was at Trump Tower this morning.
Crazy. Guess who just walked into Trump Tower?
Surprise, Kanye West.
My goodness, the rapper Kanye West.
Yeah, that's Kanye West. Kanye West? Yeah, that's Kanye West.
No, I am not joking.
We're not saying he's a gold digger. Check this out. Can you believe this?
How about this? Keeping up with Kanye.
Why did he meet with Kanye West? I honestly have no idea, but they did. So there you go.
I thought I'd seen it all, Carol, but now there you have it.
So there's that.
Yes, indeed. I don't know what to make of that. I don't know.
Kanye West. No idea. Don't ask.
There's only so much I can say about this.
There's not a whole lot to say. You know what? We're not even going to comment on this. We have to move on because that is crazy town.
I was going to try to avoid talking about Kanye West this morning.
I was hoping you were going to ask me anything about Kanye West.
You know what? Because I need a breather after that.
Kanye West came to Trump Tower, met with Donald Trump, and they had a nice embrace and hug there.
Hug it out with Yeezy.
Yeah, hugging it out.
Kind of a bro hug, I'm told. Here he comes. Bro hug.
What job do you think he's up for?
I don't know.
We'll have
Secretary of Cool Stuff.
Secretary of Cool Stuff.
You never know who you're going to see.
You never know who's going to show up.
We never know who's going to show up.
Just another day at Trump Tower.
Right. People chase bright, shiny objects all day long.
Shiny object.
This really looks like a bright, shiny object to me.
Kanye West on the screen like that. I could barely believe that.
That's amazing.
Oh, it's great stuff. It's just fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
So much for conversation about Rex Tillerson, the new Secretary of State, for the next several hours, huh, Carol?
There are so many questions, not just about Donald Trump's conflict of interest, but about some of these cabinet picks.
And when you look at what's trending right now, guess what it is?
Kanye West.
The news that is the least important of the entire day, Kanye West was in Trump Tower. I have no idea how that applies to anything that we are covering or care about, but hey, why not, right?
And you wonder why we got so many viewers. I'm telling you.
To the good life. Welcome to the good life.
I mean, the media is absolutely losing it right now. They're losing it right now, guys. They do not know how to handle this Trump presidency. They don't.
They don't know how to handle anything.
They don't know how to handle any of it.
No,
I believe. Yeah.
They've been self-destructing since the beginning of the election cycle.
Yeah.
It's awful. Awful.
So,
and I'm surprised. The people should be rising up against the media right now, and they're not. I'm kind of disappointed in that people aren't taking
media
the
still has
of the
a lot
media.
of power, man. Because you have to remember, 50% of this nation is brainwashed by leftism. We still have half of the country to fight for. That's the problem. When you have half of America on one side and the other half of America on another side, how in the hell are you able to fight against the evil when it has half of America's support? Like, a lot of people still watch CNN and MSNBC, and I don't understand when they've already been proven over and over again to lie. I don't understand it.
But how can that be when these 10 people are saying they don't trust the media? They don't trust the media either. The left doesn't. Like, that's what they say anyway.
So why do they continue to? But why do they continue to?
Well,
to feed into
the hypocrisy. That's the hypocrisy of the left. We don't know, and I can't, with any logic, defend it or explain why. But I'm just saying, they claim they don't like the media either. So, I mean, I'm really surprised that the war hasn't been taken to that front yet. Because, I mean, the media is just awful. Just awful.
So here's the interesting thing about this whole Kanye-Trump thing. Because Trump and Kanye, they talked about how to help the black community, how to help out urban areas. And now, apparently, Kanye is no longer running for POTUS in 2020. Now he's running in 2024 after Trump gets his 8 years done. And that is just glorious. But now you're starting to see, you have black people calling him Uncle Tom and Coon. The hip-hop community is turning their back on him. Slate.com is actually now calling Kanye a fascist. They're calling Kanye West a fascist now. And blacks are calling Kanye, Jim Brown, Ray Lewis, Shaq. They're calling him Uncle Tom and Coon, all this nonsense. But what a tough day it was for liberals that day, because you had Bill Gates, who also met with Trump that day, compare Donald Trump to JFK for his ability to inspire. All leftists are crying. I can taste the liberal tears right now.
That same day, not only did he meet with them, he met with Tim Cook from Apple. He also met with I cannot believe the name is a bad word. Al Gore. He met with Al Gore as well. The same day. And so liberals are on meltdown. I mean, how could this be?
Well, let me ask you. Let me ask you guys this. Oh, go ahead.
I'm listening.
Go ahead.
I was about to say, you guys. Of course, I'm not for Donald Trump. I wasn't for Hillary Clinton. But since Donald Trump is the president-elect, I want you guys to definitely take notice of the assassination attempts that will definitely happen or be attempted on Trump. I'm just warning you guys now.
I agree with that, but here's the thing.
I do too.
Donald Trump knows this, and he is going to have the same amount, miles and miles and miles of a radius of security, like Obama did, if not more.
Yeah.
Trump is going to have a load of security everywhere.
I think
it takes one loose screw, man. It takes one Judas. I'm telling you.
But they've been practicing for the past 8 years.
You're right.
They've been because I think I read somewhere that Obama's had the highest rate of incidents of assassination. You don't hear about most of it. We don't hear about most of it. But apparently, Obama's had the highest rate of that. So they've had 8 years to practice.
You know what? So, how the media would lie about, how Trump, acts and all of this. I think they even lied about what you just said about Obama. I don't believe anybody was really trying to assassinate Obama because
they absolutely were.
No, because I feel as though he's been protected more so than Donald Trump ever will be. Just because
I'm not saying that. He's definitely more protected, but that's because there was more assassination and maybe attempts and threats. Let's say threats. But you don't hear about most of it. That's the thing. But definitely he's had more threats. Yeah.
And also remember this, guys. They remember the Republicans. Most of the Republicans did not endorse Trump either. They want Pence in there.
Oh, trust me. Nope, you're right.
They want Pence in there, so don't be surprised if his own so-called party is behind the attempts. Don't remember, this government is right or left.
It would surprise me. It would surprise me. It would not surprise me whatsoever.
No, me neither.
Yeah, because that's what we've seen throughout the entire election season. We've seen not only the Democratic establishment, the whole Democratic Party, but we've also seen the Republican establishment go against Donald Trump. So none of that would surprise me whatsoever.
I told people this from the beginning. Donald Trump was never a Republican candidate. He was an independent candidate that had to run the Republican to win.
Exactly.
He was never a Republican.
Well, he was a Democrat at one time. He was a Democrat at one time.
He was. But I'm just saying, he was the independent candidate this year.
Biden, though, said something interesting earlier, that he was worried about the electors flipping. Now, if nobody knows what Unite for America is, if you haven't heard about this whole Unite for America, it's Martin Sheen, who, by the way, I can't even take serious. You're telling me that Trump is not compatible to be president of the United States, but yet you raised Charlie Sheen, who is your son. So you're completely you have no credibility in this discussion whatsoever, Martin. I'm sorry to tell you that. But this is the idiotic. It's called Unite for America, where they're trying to get the electors to flip on Donald Trump so he will not become president of the United States. I like to call it Idiots for America. This is the nonsense commercials that they released earlier this week.
Republican members of the Electoral College, this message is for you. As you know, our founding fathers built the Electoral College to safeguard the American people from the dangers of a demagogue, and to ensure that the presidency only goes to someone who is to an eminent degree endowed with the requisite qualifications.
An eminent degree. Someone who is highly qualified for the job.
The Electoral College was created specifically to prevent an unfit candidate from becoming president.
There are 538 members of the Electoral College. You
and just 36 other conscientious Republican electors can make a difference.
By voting your conscience on December 19th.
And thereby shaping the future of our nation.
I'm not asking you to vote for Hillary Clinton.
I'm not asking you to vote for Hillary Clinton.
I'm not asking you to vote for Hillary Clinton.
As you know, the Constitution gives electors the right to vote for any eligible person.
Any eligible person, no matter which party they belong to.
But it should certainly be someone you consider especially competent.
Especially competent to serve as President of the United States of America.
By voting your conscience, you and other brave Republican electors can give the House of Representatives the option to select a qualified candidate for the presidency.
I stand with you.
I stand with you.
I stand with you.
I stand with you in support and solidarity with conservatives, independents, and liberals.
And all citizens of the United States.
The American people trust that your voice speaks for us all.
And that you will make yourself heard through the constitutional responsibility granted to you by Alexander Hamilton himself.
What is evident is that Donald Trump lacks more than the qualifications to be president.
He lacks the necessary stability.
And clearly the respect for the Constitution of our great nation.
You have position,
the authority,
and the opportunity to go down in the books as an American hero
who changed the course of history.
And you have my respect.
You have my respect.
You have my respect.
For your patriotism
and service to the American people. Unite for America.
The day after, or the day that this got released, there was a Democratic elector who is supposed to vote for Hillary because his state voted for Democrats, so obviously he would have to vote for Hillary. He tweeted out after he saw that commercial, that made him want to vote for Trump. That's how ridiculous that commercial was, that it made him want to vote for Donald Trump. And that is stunning. But here's the thing about this whole thing. Not only does it go against the American people, not only does it go against democracy, not only does it go against American freedom, but this also breaks 18 U.S. Code 594 that says, quote, unquote, whoever intimidates, threatens, coerces, or attempts to intimidate, threaten, or coerce any other person for the purpose of interfering with the right of such other person to vote, or to vote as he may choose, or of causing such other person to vote for or not to vote for any candidate for the office of president, vice president, presidential elector, member of the Senate, member of the House, delegate from the District of Columbia, or resident commissioner at any election held solely or in part for the purpose of electing such candidate shall be fined under this title or in prison not more than 1 year or both. This breaks codes, guys. How come this isn't being how come but wait a minute, how come law is not being pushed in this? How come law is not being restored? How come nobody is going after the left? But if the right did this, there will be charges filed all over the place. I'm not understanding the hypocrisy, John.
Here's what's going to happen. Okay, this is the way that the right is. It's not. They're not going to take issue with it until it causes a problem. So, like, if by chance come Monday and the electors do go against their pledge, number one, you're going to see a civil war. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Things are going to get very ugly very quickly. I mean a very aggressive, ugly, bloody civil war in this country will happen. But number two, there's no reason to do that unless something actually comes out of it. It's not worth it. It's not worth their time, their money, their efforts, energy. Let them waste their resources on this idiotic stuff all they want. If that's a prerogative, because it's not going to change anything. And if it does, we're all going to be in a world of hurt anyway. That's my theory. If something does happen Monday and he doesn't get the 270 for whatever reason, the United States is just null and void at that point.
Dust off your passports, dude.
Yeah, no. I'll stay and fight. I'm on it. I'll be completely honest. I'll stay and fight.
You're a nut.
Yeah, I think we got to stand. I think we got to stand here and fight, Darren. We got to fight against the left. Like, the left is an evil ideology, and we have to fight against it.
Our forefathers fought for us. I'll fight for our future.
No. You guys can say that. This country, I'm sorry. This is where I go against y'all. This country's not for me, man.
Well, it is.
So what country is? Wait a minute. Wait. What country is for you then?
I have a continent that is for me.
So you think that if you go over to Africa, your life will be so much better?
Wow.
Yeah. In certain parts that are modernized, yes.
The white parts you're referring to.
No, they're not. No,
exactly.
No, not true. Not true.
So what specific area in Africa are you talking about then?
You got, if I'm not mistaken, Nigeria, parts of Nigeria.
So you would move to Nigeria?
Hell yeah.
Really?
Round up all my family. Go right back.
I guarantee, Darren, if you moved to Nigeria, you would be begging to come back within 3 days.
You would be, but that's just completely un-American. Totally un-American. To not stay and fight for your country.
Well, I don't know, man. If there's civil unrest in America, how will I be begging to come back if you guys would destroy yourselves?
We're not destroying ourselves. We're fighting for what we believe in, just like we've done in the past. We've fought to make the country stronger and better.
I'm not.
That's the only way to make it stronger and better.
I can't fight for a government that doesn't fight for me, man. No matter what.
We're fighting to make the government. We are the government. That's the thing that people don't understand. We have to make the government us again. And that's what the fight would be about.
Do you realize that Trump getting elected, the American people took over the government. They took it back when Donald Trump got elected. That's what happened.
I don't know.
Well, it was a huge step. We haven't taken it completely back yet. Huge step.
But I guess so, but remember, Donald Trump is a part of that 1% that we are fighting against, if you think about it. And,
I'm not fighting against 1%.
Well, the 1% is really what's trying to they're trying to oppress the 99%, meaning us.
No, maybe 1%, maybe 0.1% of the 1% want to do that. but the majority of the 1% do not want to do that.
There's not too many of the one. There's not too many 1%ers, man. So that one, it's not too many of them. So actually,
I think that's false. We need to have rich people in this country. We have to have rich people in this country.
I don't know.
We can't
Somebody
villainize for being rich.
Somebody just tweeted on the show and asked what our thoughts are on Aleppo. If you don't know what's going on in Aleppo, to the audience, rebels have taken over the city. You have women, children, men are being murdered in the streets. It's a literal genocide over there. Syria and Russia have now liberated the city. They have helped shelter these people and give them food. Of course, there's leftist propaganda that are saying that Russia troops are the one causing this, when in fact it's rebels. But there's so much propaganda out there, including the president. He's saying that it's Russia's fault, when in fact it's not. It's the rebels.
It's more his fault than Russia's.
So just be careful. Yeah, be careful of the leftist propaganda. Be careful of the false narratives. And here's my thoughts about it, and then I'll let John and Darren speak their piece about it. I feel bad for the people of Aleppo. I truly do. I feel bad for everything that's happened the past couple of days. But, and I'm just being honest here, it's not our affair unless it benefits America. I hate to say that, but we have to put our people first. I'm tired of policing the world. I'm tired of seeing America getting taken advantage of over and over and over again. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Can you blame me for that? I believe in nationalism and Americanism. We should not be helping these people unless it benefits us. I hate to say that, but that's the position that America needs to put itself in. I'm tired of our country. I'm tired of seeing our country getting taken advantage of. I'm tired of it. Am I wrong for that?
Yeah, but how?
No, you're not.
How they're getting taken advantage of is by other countries or other special interests going into that country of Syria and stripping it of its resources. And America as a nation is one of the nations, Western nations, that is causing the oppression in that area. Honestly, if it really comes down, it's America, it's France, and it's what's that other nation? Australia. They're all in Aleppo, and they're causing havoc. And they don't like the Russians because the Russians are in there trying to. I think me and Andrew talked about this earlier. The Russians and Iranians are trying to bring aid and everything. And I don't know if you guys remember that report of the U.S. The U.S. declaring that one of those airstrikes that hit the hospital by accident was an accident, when in actuality it was not. And there was a U.S.-led airstrike into a hospital, one of the only hospitals left in Aleppo. So we're the oppressors, end of story. I feel very bad for the people in Aleppo because of what we're doing.
How are we the oppressors? Explain this to me, how we are the oppressors.
We're not.
Well, we are. Yes, we are.
How?
What is ISIS? What is ISIS? I want to know, what is ISIS to you guys?
It's a terrorist organization, but that doesn't answer my question. How is America oppressing the world?
How is it oppressing? Because they, like you just said, they police. They're the world police. They meddle in other people's. They meddle in other people's business. Why are we doing that?
So you agree with Trump then on this? That's great. Here's the thing: the only people you have to.
He does agree with Trump on this. That's amazing.
Yeah. The only people you can blame for this is Obama's foreign policies and Hillary Clinton's being Secretary of State, John Kerry being Secretary of State. That's who you can blame for this. Yes,
well,
it is.
Yes, but it goes back further than that, man.
Sure. The world's always been turning.
Let me ask you this.
I get it.
Let me ask you this, though. As far as the whole oppression thing, let's say, okay, so you have the Middle East over here with all this oil, all these different resources, but they don't use them. All they do is fight each other. They kill each other in the name of Allah. All this nonsense. They do not use their resources, other than a Saudi Arabia. They do not use their resources to make themselves richer. So if they're not willing to use their resources, what's wrong with us going over there and taking the resources that they're going to do is destroy to begin with?
Well, here's the thing. The only thing they can have the resources. The only thing that we had to be careful with the resources, which we already failed, was we did not need to let them get in the hands of someone like ISIS. Well, too late. They're already in the hands of ISIS because we didn't take the oil when we had the chance. Trump was absolutely right about that. We should have never been there to begin with. Trump was right about that as well. You know, what we need to do now, it's not how we made a mistake, how we made mistakes in the past. We have to look to the future now because we can't go back and change. So what we got to do now is figure out how to eliminate the issue now and just be done with it. So that's why Trump, you know, fast and furious, do whatever we got to do. You know what? The public may not know about it, and I don't care. I don't care to know how he does it. I don't want to know how he does it. Just eliminate the issue, leave, and then let them kill each other off how they've been doing for millennia anyway. The end. That's what needs to happen to go forward.
Okay. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but all I'm saying is America's best friend, Israel, is occupying a land that the Palestinians had, and they're oppressing the Palestinians. Palestinians are dying every day in that land for no reason. They don't have an army. They do not have a nation. They do not have an occupied land at all. They are mixed in with these Israelis. And this is America's best friend, and the interest of Israel to expand into the Syrian Golan Heights area just to expand their territory is what is the reason behind this whole proxy war. America is trying to expand Israel's territory for its own gain, and that's what is going on in Aleppo.
It's actually a religious thing more than anything, I think. But you know, you're right. I mean, but it is a religious-based thing. You know, all you have to do is read the Bible to understand what's going on with Israel, and that's where all that started.
Don't tell Darren about the Bible. Darren to go in. Darren to go in on that.
You're talking about the wrong Israel, sir. The Israel that the Bible is talking about were tribes. It was not this fake state of Israel that was created in 1967. The Bible was not prophesying about that fake state. I'm sorry.
You can believe that, but others disagree.
Okay.
I'm not saying I agree or disagree. I'm saying others disagree. And that's where you're getting that from.
Others could disagree all they want.
Right.
Like
and that's where you're getting that from. And that's where that's why that's happening, is because others disagree with you. So you have that foreign policy with Israel.
Like Andrew's been saying, facts over feelings. You can read the Bible, and it does not talk about the state of Israel. Israel was tribes. They were 12 tribes. It was not the fake state of Israel.
Now, if you want to go by the facts, John, Darren is completely accurate about this.
And I never said he was wrong. All I'm saying is you want to know why the United States has that policy, that kind of foreign policy with Israel. That's why. It is a religious-based policy. Not that it's right. I'm not saying that it's right or correct at all. Not what I'm saying. I'm saying that's the reason why. So if you want to change that policy, then you're going to have to educate people on what the Bible really says. That's all I'm saying. So don't
you have been listening. Yes, you have been listening to Unpopular Popularity with me, Andrew Powell, John Stutsman, and Darren Williamson sitting in for Kelvin Gravely. We'll be back next Saturday, same time, same place, newmediacentral.net. Yes!